on a guy that's never won a golf tournament. It's a bit shocking, really, but of course we'll cover off both tournaments on this week's golf betting show. Paul Williams has delved into the M2M Russian Open. It's being played at a new course that no one has tackled previously. It's being played at a Jack Nicklaus designed the Skolkovo Golf Club outside of Moscow. Come and read Paul's full commentary. It's a par 71, 7,025 yards, and it's going to be a birdie and eagle fest. Okay, let me take you through Paul's published predictor model for the M2M Russian Open. Top 10, Damien McGrain, 50 to 1 with BetVictor. On Andrea Pavan, 110 to 1 at 9 with Bet365. 8 is Sam Hutsby, 80 to 1 with Bet365. 7 is David Drysdale, 50 to 1 with Betway. 6, Michael Hoey, 16 to 1. That just about says everything. 5 is Keith Horn, 40 to 1 with Paddy Power. 4, Adilson De Silva, 66 to 1 with Paddy Power. 3, David Horsey, 14 to 1 with Betway. Maximilian Kiefer is 10 to 1 with Paddy Power at 2. The prices make me laugh, it has to be said. And number 1 is the South African Jacques Blore, 50 to 1 with BetVictor. So that's Blore, Kiefer, Horsey, De Silva and Horn. We've got Hoey, Drysdale, Hutsby, Pavan and McGrain in the top 10. Those looking for some value further down, Carlos De Moral is 80 to 1 at 13. Justin Waters, 17, 100 to 1. Brian Casey is at 19, 500 to 1 with Coral. Next up, James Heath, 175 to 1. Nathan Holman, 100 to 1. Touch Van der Vault, 100 to 1 at 22. And then Billy Hemstock, 350 to 1 at 23. Sean Norris, 24, 175 to 1. And Ben Evans, 125 to 1 at 25. Plenty and plenty of triple digits lower down in this week's published M2M Russian Open predictor model. Okay, Paul is keeping his stakes low this week. Very little known about the event. He's going for some mid prices though. Junhun Wang, a point each way at 50 to 1 with BetVictor. Some very promising results for Wang over on the Asian Tour. He looks a real talent, it has to be said. And he's one of these South Koreans that can hit plenty of greens and can putt very, very well. So Junhun Wang, a point each way at 50 to 1. You know, the step up to the European Tour level, especially at these low-key events. You know, the waters are very, very blurry. And this guy, you may remember actually, he won recently on the Asian Tour at Mission Hills last April 2014. Mission Hills has held World Golf Championship, so he can obviously play on decent tracks. And he also finished second in the Dubai Open in December behind Arjun Atwal. He has previous, can you call it a step up? Probably not, but Junhun Wang, a point each way at 50 to 1 with BetVictor, is Paul's first tip. Next up, a guy that specialises in shorter courses, has won lots and lots of Challengers Tour events, never won on the main tour, but sitting at 122nd in the race to Dubai. So if he wants to keep his card, he needs to be in the top 115. Craig Lee, a point each way at 40 to 1 for Craig Lee. The Scotsman has been playing some good golf of late and started to show his face last week over at the Czech Masters where he putted extremely well. So Craig Lee, a point each way, 40 to 1 with Coral. And then this very young South African who's been playing brilliantly on the Sunshine Tour, Jacques Blore. Paul's going to point the win at 66 to 1 with 888 Sport, and also a point top 5 finish 11 to 1 with 888 Sport on Jacques Blore. It's different. It's interesting, you know. He's basically had consecutive top 4 finishes in the past fortnight over on the Sunshine Tour, and that says a lot. As we said earlier, you know, the gap between the Sunshine Tour and these very, very shallow waters on the European Tour, nondescript at best. And he also played very, very well, closing 61 at the Tishwani Open back in the winter. Now, that was on a 7,063 yard course. So tight courses where you can take them apart with low scoring. That sits well within Blau's capabilities. So Jacques Blau, a point. Sounds like that guy off of 21, doesn't it? Jacques Blau, a point win 66 to 1 and a point top 5 finish 11 to 1 with 888 Sport. Craig Lee, a point each way 40 to 1 with Coral, and also Jung Hung Wan, a point each way 50 to 1 with Bet Victor. I'm sure Paul pulls these players together mainly because I can't pronounce their names. So Wang, Lee, and Blau. That's Blue. That's 888 Sport this week. Okay, we go across to the PGA Tour and a load of names that I can pronounce and players that I've actually heard of over on the PGA Tour. What can you say about Jason Day at the moment? Absolutely outstanding. His performance last week to see off a class field was fantastic, and we're now talking in the press about the big three: Day, McIlroy, and Jordan Spieth. They're battling for world number one. If Day wins this week, he becomes world number one. If Spieth and McIlroy don't finish second to him, Jordan Spieth can regain the top position if Day doesn't win and McIlroy doesn't finish in the top 10. And of course, if none of those things happen, Rory McIlroy keeps the world number one spot that he actually only got back this week. It's all very complicated. It's almost as if the FedEx Cup playoffs don't exist. It's all about world number one. It's also about President's Cup. Interestingly, they've extended this year to count points for qualification to the President's Cup. The latter side of this week's Deutsche Bank. So those players that are around the top 9, you look at the points. Patrick Reed at 8, Matt Kuchar at 9, and certainly Chris Kirk, the defending champion here at the Deutsche Bank, who hasn't been playing a lot of golf, has been injured. He's sitting at 10 in the President's Cup rankings. Those players can be overtaken quite easily by a number of players. I'll just read off you some names. You won't be surprised to hear that Brooks Koepka's in the list. But we've also got players of the ilk of Bill Haas, who did nothing for me last week, J.B. Holmes, Billy Horschel, Brandt Snedeker, Webb Simpson, Charlie Hoffman, Kevin Na, obviously Streb, and also Koepka and Moore. If they win this week, they're going to leapfrog at least Chris Kirk to get one of those top 10 automatic spots. And then Jay Haas, prior to the BMW Championship, not next week, the week after, announces his 2 captains picks. So there's no golf in between, but they're delaying the announcement of his captain picks to the week before the BMW, which is being played over in Chicago. So some really interesting aspects there. For me, I'm keeping away from all President's Cup and world number one contestants this week. I'm sure that would be completely the wrong thing to do. But top 10 of this week's predictor model. We've got Brooks Koepka 40 to 1 with Sky Bet. 9 is Henrik Stenson 16 to 1 with Paddy Power. 8 Dustin Johnson 16 to 1 with Coral. 7 Bubba Watson 22 to 1 with Bet Victor. 6 Jason Bone 125 to 1 with Sky Bet. 5 is Matt Kuchar 50 to 1 with Betway. 4 Zach Johnson 40 to 1 with Bet365. 3 Justin Rose 20 to 1 with Sky Bet. 2 Jordan Spieth 17 to 2 with Coral, and number 1 is Jason Day 13 to 2 with Betfred. He's being heavily backed already. That's Day. I mean, his record at TPC Boston is fantastic as well. It must be one of his favourite courses because it is one of those courses. It's past 71, pretty nondescript. Can play long when it's soft, and it's likely to be a lot softer this year than it was last year. The kind of course that can be brutally overpowered. What you do need around here, you need to be able to putt well and scramble well. And when the course is receptive, it tends to play into the hands of ball strikers. Now, you've got Jason Day at the moment, who topped greens in regulation last week at Plainfield and also was in the top 3 in putting average. You're simply not going to beat that, especially a guy that can bang it 310 quite easily from the tee. So I can see why Day's going to be heavily backed. They're saying that Jordan Spieth, and Day mentioned this in an interview after his win at the Barclays last week. Spieth, he said at the PGA Championship was tired. He looked jaded. He was struggling after a very, very tough season, and also a season that culminated, of course, in him becoming world #1. Can Spieth fight back this week? We shall see. We've got Justin Rose at #3. Rose is playing the most consistent golf that you've seen from him in a long, long while. He just can't putt as well as Jordan Spieth and Jason Day. However, if those guys have an off day, if they're looking at themselves, they're actually paired together in the same group, Spieth and Day, over the first 2 rounds, which is a bit... it's all done on FedEx Cup rankings, of course, and that'll be interesting to watch. But if they look at themselves more than the competition, you might find Justin Rose sliding in there at a course that he's done very well at when he was in his younger days. He hasn't done a lot there recently. But you look at where Rose plays well and the kind of skills and attributes you need to play TPC Boston well. Rose fits that perfectly. Zach Johnson, not so much. He's not long enough, in my opinion. But also players that can overpower a golf course in that top 10. Bubba Watson, obviously. Dustin Johnson, obviously. Henrik Stenson won it 2 years ago. And also Brooks Koepka. Now, Koepka's got no course experience. Missed the cut last week, which I don't like. But if you're looking at a guy that knows that he wants to be in the President's Cup team and he's confident, Brooks Koepka has got to have a big, big chance this week. Outside of the top 10, Matsuyama at 45-1 has found the putter of late. He could have a very big shout this week. Webb Simpson and Snedeker both at 66s. Phil Mickelson's at 66s. Will Wilcox 200-1 at 16. Ryan Moore at 17, 125-1. He's played well here in the past. Justin Thomas, big power, not big build, but he's brutal off the tee. All of the statistics, like Koepka, ticks all of the boxes. Justin Thomas 80-1 with Sky Bet. Paul Casey, an experienced campaigner, he's available at 66-1 with Ladbrokes Paul Casey. And then Brandon Steele, another one that's been playing some fantastic golf recently. He's ranked at 20, 150-1. Don't forget, last year we had a shock winner, 150-1, Chris Kirk. We've also had Charlie Hoffman here at 125-1, and it will potentially go one of 2 ways. You're either going to get a shock winner, or you're going to get a Jordan Spieth or a Jason Day winning. Someone at very, very short odds, because that's the way the season has been over the last few months. It's been absolutely amazing the way that the winners have worked out. I'm going for 4 this week. Henrik Stenson, 2 points each way, 16-1 with Paddy Power, playing gorgeous. He played brilliant golf last week. I really do regret not tipping him at 28-1. I just couldn't see him. His putter just hadn't warmed, and then it started to warm last week. That puts him in great nick, because Poa-Niue is one of his best surfaces. Pure bend, no problems at all. 2 points each way, 16-1 with Paddy Power. It's interesting in these playoffs, you do get players that find form and can keep that form running over a number of events. Henrik Stenson obviously won TPC Boston, and then he won at Eastlake 2 years ago. Stenson, also you look at his record, there's masses and masses going back to 2006 of events where he's finished second and then he finishes third, second, or even first the week after. He's that kind of player. Henrik Stenson, 2 points each way, 16-1. He's 4th in the FedEx Cup standings. That does not mean he's guaranteed a top 5 by any stretch this early for Eastlake, so he needs to keep playing well. Next up, Justin Rose. I've already explained Justin, really. 2 points each way, 20-1 with Betfred. He's been putting okay, Justin Rose. He's in the top 20 on the top 20 in the predictor model for putting average. He's putting fantastically. It's just that Jason Day, Jordan Spieth have been putting far better. If they have an off week, Rose can step up to the mark in my opinion. 2 points each way, 20-1 with Betfred. I'm also going Paul Casey, a point each way, 66-1 with Ladbrokes. That's a crazy price on Paul Casey. And also a point each way, 80-1 with Boyle